Na kule simetoka siongezeke. So I was here to introduce my guest speaker. She's so special to me. And actually, how did I spot her? I'm a lover of social media. I happen to be mother to millennials. I'm a mother to millennials. And you know, if you are a millennial, if you are a Gen Z, I think I'm fit to be a mom. And because when they were growing up, they used to teach me so much about social media, even wakafanya niache kabambe. And so I entered into the world of social media. By then they used to have touch screens I didn't have. And I'm the one who used to buy those touch screens. So one day I just made a decision, and that decision ushered me to the world of social media. And so one day as I was going through my Facebook account, I saw her and the kind of work that she does. And one day I spotted her at KCB. I don't know what she was doing in KCB. I said, because I'm looking for a guest, I need to source for this person. You see, the social media is very easy to get somebody. And that's how I spotted this beautiful lady. She is so dynamic. What she has done in the few years that she has, she's done so much. She's an owner of company. She's worked with a big organization. When I looked at her CV, she's the president of Kitengera Rotary Club, but she'll introduce herself. And she's so young. So for the Gen Zs, just bought a leaf of how you can bring yourself up, how you can grow yourself up. And I think from a young age, and who she is today, because she's still very young, and because she's going to introduce herself, I'm sure she has something that she can offer, especially to those that are advanced in years, to those who are in the middle years, and to those who are still in their early years, in their 20s and 18. And I'm sure you are going to board a leaf, and you are going to take your one to another level. Sometimes I look at the car she drives, then it's like, oh my goodness, when did she get here? And so direct us kindly, from your comfort, from wherever you are, we want to bring our special guest. We want to bring our special guest. Kindly, get ready. Yeah. Get ready. Because, okay, I come from Mount Kenya, unfortunately, because tunasemanga hivi, that ngaragu behoya bohoro. Yani kama mtu ako na njaa basi ukamuuliza kitu akwambia, si ndio? Unamsikiliza kwanza, alafu ndio aweze nini? Muweze mkaongea, si ndio? And because now we sat there, we stayed there, and now she can be able to tell us something. So director DJ, kindly. I think she's a millennial, if I'm not very wrong. I know what I'm good for. I come from Nego Kena. Wake up. Director, kindly.
Don't walk, you don't try. You're supposed to enjoy time. Get up and be gone, say run down, say we don't mind. When I come back, I'm sorry, it's so far. So far, so good. Only back down, let me see. Oh, lo. Oh, let me Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy. Allow me to enjoy myself. 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 Allow me to enjoy. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to I shall have
Wow, oh my gosh. What a wonderful place to be. Good afternoon, Neolife family. The energy in the room is so infectious. I wish I could go back 20 years and just join this organization. Oh my gosh. I don't even know why I didn't know about this organization when I was younger. I'd be rich. Okay, I'm so glad to be here. But even as I start off, before I introduce myself, I really loved something that I had one of the people who came before on the stage talked about. There's somebody who said something, it was very funny. He talked about being poor and he had an acronym. Do you remember the acronym? Yes. What did he say it stands for? Wonderful students, you know? And myself, I'm a person of faith. And one thing I know is that God didn't intend anybody to be poor. Do you know that? Actually, when we were given that wonderful Garden of Eden, it was so beautiful and it had everything. The only reason why we are struggling today is because we choose to focus on what we don't have, on lack, instead of what we have, right? So I loved that, and I love that we should not pass over these opportunities because they really cost us before we find another one, right? And it also brought me to the story of David and Goliath. I know all of you know that story. Where when you're telling your kids the story, we just focus on the part of how he fought Goliath, but we don't focus so much on what he had in his backpack, that before he was a shepherd who used to fight lions and protect his sheep. And so when the opportunity came, remember he was prepared for it because opportunity meets a prepared mind, right? Today I have seen people who are number 7 or 8 become number 1 and 2, right? But it wasn't just pure luck. It was opportunity meeting a prepared. They were prepared for the opportunity, right? Um, I've also come with a microbiologist who I'll introduce shortly, which also gives me the example of Lois Pasteur, the guy who, that when you are dealing with milk, there's a process called pasteurization, named after Louise Pasteur. So even for that guy, I remember when he was working with the processes of heating milk and all that, and the observation is what prepared him so that by the time he got to the wine and the other things that he dealt with later, he was able to use that knowledge that he had once upon a time. So sometimes there are things happening in your life preparing you for a particular moment, but you don't know about it until you actually get there. So I just thought I'll say that before I introduce myself. So my name is Caroline Jiro. I'm a member of the Public Relations Society of Kenya. I am a communication strategist and the CEO and founder of Convey PR. In 2024, I was chosen among the 52 top PR practitioners in Kenya. I love what I do. I'm a storyteller and I love telling stories, especially of African people. I'm also a communications coach and a personal development coach. In addition, I'm an entrepreneur in the education sector, so I'm a businesswoman as well. As you know, I'm a woman of faith, I've already mentioned that, and I love to serve. And one of the organizations I serve with is called Rotary International, where I've served diligently for many years. Currently, as a club president of a Rotary club, and previously I have served as the public image chair for Kenya, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Eritrea. I am married. I've been married for the last 15 years. And my husband is here today. He accompanied me. I was supposed to come alone, but I had my foot and couldn't drive. So he stopped what he was doing and became my chauffeur and doing a few errands for me. I don't know where he is. Yeah, that means you can wave. That's Dr. Patricia Jiro. Maybe one day you'll invite him and hear his story, but since you invited me, you'll hear mine. So, what I want to talk about today is something very important, which is getting ourselves and navigating our purpose through life, right? So, I'll just share a few insights about my personal story. I've been called young. Thank you so much, Madam Judy Jero. She's called me young very many times. I love hearing that. I had somebody say 40 is the new 20. For many 20-year-olds, we've taken your spot. But when I started out myself, when I graduated from school, I remember at the time the focus was, everything you had been taught was just get a job, get a job, get a job. It was just about getting a job. At the time, education wasn't like it is today with so many people providing you these opportunities and showing you another way out. So I remember I went straight into employment. And of course, when you get into employment, the first thing you start doing is just chasing that paper. You're trying to chase the money. So I get into one job, get into another job, get into another job. What am I chasing? I was chasing stability. So I started working for a PR firm, then I worked for the national airline, traveled the world for a bit of time. But at the time, it's just a job. You're not doing it for any particular reason except to get money. So, and that money, I didn't even have a plan for the money at all. It's just because all along you've been told you need to study, study, study. So you know that song? There's a time I sang that song. I was talking to young people, Gen Zs, and then I said, "So many vijana," and they left me hanging because they've never heard that song in their lives. So I hope this crowd won't let me down. So many vijana, mwisho wa kusoma. Okay, tulimaliza kusoma. Tulipata kazi mzuri sana. So that is what we had been taught. So you start chasing the job, you start realizing it's not paying you enough, and then you look for another one, it's not paying you enough, and so on. So I worked for a couple of organizations, like I said, I worked for PR Farm, I worked for Kenya Airways, I worked here and there everywhere, but I was not feeling quite fulfilled in terms of what I like to do or what I find enjoyable to do. So I started thinking to myself that I think I'd like to do something more out there. I want to do something more for myself. But I couldn't describe it then because at that time we didn't have people going around talking about finding your purpose and giving motivational talks. I don't know where they were, but again, the age of the internet hadn't come. So I think I had that feeling, and that's when I resigned my job in 2012 and decided to run my own business. At the time, leaving an airline, people thought I was mad. People thought I was crazy. They were not understanding why would you leave this job, which appears stable, to do your own business. But then I just decided to go for it. And also, when I was employed, I was just financially, another thing, financial literacy wasn't there. So I didn't know what to do with my money. So there was this cycle of um, you earn the money, you spend the money, then you start again. You earn the money, you spend the money, then you start again. So the older you're just growing older and older and older, but you keep starting. It's like you're starting many times. You get me? So that thing of trying to understand financial literacy, still it wasn't there. It wasn't a thing at the time. And now it's something that we see. At this time, I also want to talk about something I like talking about, fear. It has been mentioned by quite a number of speakers who came before me. Fear is something that really holds us back. Fear and imposter syndrome, where you feel like you're not good enough because you're being told the people standing in front of you are telling you nice things. Let's go to Egypt. Let's go. I don't know where. We're gonna buy jeeps. We're gonna do this, and you're sitting there wondering, why? Maybe for them, maybe them, them, they're managers, they know people, mi sijui mtu, mi nitaanzia wapi. So you doubt, that fear in you is doubting because either you're doubting yourself, you don't think that you can do it, you think that other people are better than you or they know something that you don't know. Maybe them, they've succeeded because they have bigger networks. But let me tell you, fear is something which is in somebody's mind. I remember my sister lives in Switzerland now, but at the time she was in Germany. And she called me up and she told me, well, that time I was young and I was looking for a job. And I was not advancing in terms of my career the way I wanted to. And she told me, I have a friend of mine, she's married to a German, and she works for one of these UN agencies in Gigiri. And she works in the communication field, which is my field, but she's pregnant. So they decided they're going to go and have the baby in Germany. And she has been asked to recommend or to refer somebody who can take her job. So it's not even an interview thing, it's you're being shooed into the responsibility. And at the time, I don't know what was wrong with me. Hindsight is always 2020. I'm like, no, but deep down it's because I'm scared. I felt like, oh my gosh, if I go there, this is the UN, I reach there, they'll find out that I'm a fraud. They will see that I don't know what I am doing. You don't believe in yourself, yeah? Unajishuku. So you're feeling when I get there, these people I'll embarrass my sister, I'll embarrass everybody. These people are going to catch me. I'll get there from day one, by day three, they'll be calling her to ask her, who is this you recommended? You know? And can you believe I let that opportunity pass me by? Just like that. And that's not the only story I have. If I tell you many stories here, you'll even look a bit different because of fear. Now, this fear is planted in us because we're not born with it. Children are not born with fear. Yeah, 4-year-old can ask even butt naked and feel nothing. If you have to give them the microphone, tell them to sing a song, now they'll just sing. So fear, we are not born with it. We gather it along the way. Different people get it from different places. Some people are traumatized in their own home, others it's in school, wherever it is that you collected it from. For me, I collected it from boarding school, where I was taught fear of authority, but I worked on it later on. But this fear is not something that is natural or given from God, but it prevents us from taking up a lot of opportunities. Later on in life, I have sat in various boards. I have sat in places with CEOs. I have met people you see on TV and worked with them, and you start realizing one grand thing. And I'm very sure even your top leaders can tell you the same. People are the same everywhere. They are just people. The same way when you are, if you're living, let's say, in a slum today, and you have neighbors, and in your neighbors you have the kind neighbor, the loud neighbor, the mean neighbor, the one who beats the children, the one who is shouting. Is the same way when you go to Runda, you will find the neighbor who is mean, the one, and so on and so forth. So when you get to the top, I wonder, this is what I was scared of. What was I scared of? Even some people at the top don't know what they're doing. Forget even that lower level, you know? So you start realizing fear is just in your mind. That this is a networking thing. And why I love this organization, when I was called to speak here, the first thing I did is look up the organization. And I love your values. I love that the products that you make are good products, and they're products that are healthy products and done around nature, they're natural. I like the family, the encouragement, the happiness. You know, there are people who are meeting targets under duress. If you go to some of these corporate Kenya, there is not being clapped for the way you're being clapped for here and being acknowledged and recognized. It's threat of being fired. If you don't meet your targets, and some of the banks say, if you don't meet your targets, it's game over for you. You know. So I just love the way here there's a lot of happiness and encouragement. But today I really want to speak to that person who is doubting themselves. That you don't have to doubt. You just have to take a step forward. A human being is a human being. The worst they can do is say no. I remember telling even my own children this. Go for leadership positions in school. Go for leadership positions in school. If you see them saying there's an election for prefect, engage yourself inside there. It doesn't matter whether you don't get it because you didn't have it even before. You see, you didn't have it before. You see, it's not like you're going to die or something. You just try your luck. There are people you'll talk to who don't want to listen to you. I'm also a marketer. One of the things I have under my belt is I didn't tell you about my education background, but I've studied communications, PR. I have a postgraduate diploma in marketing management. I have a master's degree in entrepreneurship and innovation management. So I know a thing or two about marketing. There's some people who can waste your time. You go for meeting after meeting after meeting, and then at the end they still say no, right? But imagine you're polishing yourself and getting better and better and better. Fear is your worst enemy. I used to be so scared, despite everything I know because of my age. I used to be so scared even when I started doing things on socials. People would ask me, why don't you have a podcast? Why don't you have this? And I'd say, I don't want people to laugh at me. What if I get it wrong? What if, Kenyans online are so mean? They can tear you down, and then you don't take that first step. You see, like I said, if I was not on social media, I would not even be here talking to you people. It's because I had the courage to post, whether someone likes it or doesn't like it, right? So that fear, remember, that fear is just inside of you. Nobody else around you cares. Other people are continuing with your life. So even though you are poor, it doesn't mean that your generation should be poor. That richness should start with you. You should build wealth generation for the people who come after you. Then I also talked about service. You had me saying I'm a Rotarian. People serve in different places. People serve in their churches, in their communities, but you can never be a full person if you don't give back to community. And in this giving back, I'm telling you the blessings that come your way, the people you meet, because this is a networking organization. So I believe that the more people you know, the higher the chances. So think of service as well. Organizations where you can volunteer your time. There are so many organizations. Some are church-based, some are St. John's, some are Rotary, some are Interact. These are places where you can give back your time, you can give your vocation, you can help with who you are and what you have, and you'll meet so many people who will introduce you to many other people. So what am I talking about in a nutshell? I'm trying to talk about purpose, finding your purpose in life. And I'm going to summarize it into only 4 points because I don't want to run over the time. And these 4 points are: number 1, clarity over confusion. Clarity over confusion. Number 1, that you need to know, especially for the ones who are getting started, you don't have to have it all figured out to start. When I wanted, let me give a personal example. There's a time I really wanted to start a podcast, and I now have a podcast. It's called Convey with Caroline. And I overthought that thing for 3 years. Can you imagine overthinking? I want to start it. I have the message, I have the voice, I know what I want to say. I even have the degree. I have a communications degree, I have the knowledge. But it took me over 3 years to start because of overthinking, trying to line up everything to be perfect. Now, I should start, but I first need this type of camera, I first need this type of microphone, I first need this. Where will I be recording it from? Where will I do this from? I overthink and overthink. As you're busy there overthinking, others have started with just their phone. We live now that the smartphone has everything. Because when you do step 1 leads to step 2, step 2 leads to step 3. So you start with your phone. Had I known that, I just started with my phone. And I put it up on YouTube or on Spotify for free. It might not be perfect, the sound might not have been perfect, but I have started. Then with time, I can focus on how can I improve the sound. Let me get a better microphone. But I have started. The better microphone is finding you in episode 5. The better thing is finding you in episode 10. But you see, you're moving. So even me, I've had that problem. Some of you today will be thinking, I want to start this, lakini wacha ningoje December ama January, because hii kitu inafanyika January. So in January nitakuwa nimefanya hivi na hivi na hivi. So you start overthinking. January comes, you've not started. March starts, you've not started. The best way to start is to remove the confusion and be laser focused. Come out of this room and start today. By the time even you get into your home, you should have pitched to your first person, right? Pitch to your first person. Just try. Whether they tell you no, you're practicing. You're practicing your pitch. You're practicing, and you're getting better and better with every try. And even the people that you admire, I remember, I think the Gen Zs, I think they listen to people like, I don't know who Gen Zs listen to. So let me not even attempt to try. But let me give an example of Beyonce, the singer. She did a documentary where she showed the behind the scenes of what she does. She barely sleeps. She works very hard, and she shows that when you do something over and over, you must get better. Must. You will constantly improve. So that's point number 1. Number 2 is courage over comfort. Like I say, fear will always whisper to you that you're not good enough. And it will give you those reasons why you're not good enough. And let me tell you, people see what you show them. Now I've come and I've told you who I am. So you're seeing me based on what I have told you I am. I'm not letting you imagine who I am. I have described myself the way I want to be seen. So if you do not want to describe yourself the way you want to be seen, then the people will describe you for you. So it's better that you control your own narrative. The next time you go home, you meet your family members, from today evening, you start and saying, starting today, I want you to refer me as executive director. I want you to refer to me as World Team Sapphire or the other, right? You determine who you want to be seen as by people. If you do not tell people who you are, they will label you. And you might not like the label that they put for you. Your family might be seeing you're the loser in the family. Unatuambia nini wewe? You're coming home and you're trying to tell them, kuna hii place nimetoka, I need some assistance, and they're looking at you like, what are you telling us? So if you're not persistent and strong, people tend to go with what you're showing them. Yeah? Courage. You must have courage. Yeah? Number 3, discipline over distraction. What is the number 1 distraction nowadays? Your phone, social media. You wake up in the morning, where is the first place you go? For how long? You've not even gotten out of bed. You first scroll, an hour is gone. right? So if there is, no one is saying we shouldn't entertain ourselves, but let me tell you, people who have no focus get very easily distracted, very, very easily distracted. And the people who you're watching on social media are making money. The one you're scrolling, the one who is doing the video, dancing, they are making money, right? Even you, it's better when you wake up and record yourself dancing rather than just scroll endlessly. Before you go to bed, scrolling again. The last thing you should do before you go to bed is you should have a notebook next to your bed. Because at night when you're about to sleep, there are quite a number of ideas that come to your head, but you're sleepy and you don't remember them in the morning. Just jot them down on that paper. You're saying tomorrow morning I'm going to watch a marketing course. I've decided today when I tried to approach somebody, I felt that I was not very good in persuasion. So tomorrow I want to watch a video on persuasion. Right there. I want to watch a video on persuasion. Yeah. Tomorrow I'd like to reach out to one of the Neolife leaders to help me with this. Write it down. So in the morning when you wake up, the first place you go is that notebook. Obviously, I hope you pray first. Yeah. So remember, distractions, the things which are distracting you in your life, you need to map out and say how many hours in a day are you spending on those distractions, right? A bit of entertainment is good, but first tell yourself that I must first do the following things before I start entertaining myself. I'll wake up, I'll say my prayer, I'll go to my notebook, I'll do a bit of exercise, I will do this before I start looking at my phone, right? Be laser focused on whatever it is you want to do. Finally, service over self. I've repeated service again because let me tell you, if you do not, like I said, I'm a person of faith. And we all know when Jesus was asked the greatest commandment, and then he was asked what's the next commandment, and he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? There's this principle for those people who believe, like myself, um, that when you have a new product and you don't know how this product works, and you're seeing this product for the first time, you go through something called a manual. And this manual will show you how to put together this thing. You've bought a cooker day one, you've bought a TV, you've bought a washing machine. You don't know how it works. So you'll take some time to go through the manual. It tells you connect this to this, do this to this, and you follow all the steps and your machine works, right? So everybody has different faith. So I will not purport to speak for everyone, but I guess all the faiths have this in common, that all the faiths we are given a manual because the person who created the thing tells you how that thing works, right? So for me, I always believe that the person who made me has created for me a manual that if I try to do it myself, I'm wasting time. But if I do it based on the creator's instructions, I might get it right. So there is a principle on wealth management, because like I said, God did not intend us to be poor. So if you follow what He's telling you about wealth, and you follow it to a T, you'll get it right. And one of the ways to complete this cycle is to serve others. In this serving others, you'll be so shocked to find how it connects to that original goal of you wanting to make money. You'll be shocked as to how they connect, especially for this being a networking community. You have to give back to others in one way or another. Everybody defines it for themselves. You decide what you can do. But at the end of the day, you need to be able to say that you have made a difference in this world. Otherwise, the money you get, it doesn't lead anywhere, right? So I don't want to talk much, but I want to just finalize by just giving you a challenge today. Progress, like I said, and finding your purpose is not a one-time thing. It's small steps that lead to the goal. But it starts by saying yes. Saying yes to starting. Saying yes to whatever it is you want to start. Everybody is defining for themselves differently. Whether you're starting means tomorrow morning I'm going to go to the office of this person and do blah blah blah. Somebody else, the starting might be standing in front of the mirror and practicing their name. Hi, my name is John Omondi, and I work for Neolife. For someone else, that is the start. Whatever your start looks like, you need to say yes to starting. You need to say yes to facing fear. Yes to facing? And like I said, we are all scared of different things. But you'd be so surprised of how scared we are of each other. Scared that people will laugh at you, scared that you'll be embarrassed in front of people, scared, you're just scared of a lot of fear, or even fear of failure, right? And then we want to say yes to building discipline. Yes to building? For the people who have succeeded, the directors who came here, no, they're not called directors. I think they're called one team. When they came here, I'm sure you ask them, they'll tell you that consistency matters. Like for you to generate that type of money, you cannot do something starting, stopping. You have to put your mind laser focused, do something over and over and over again. Set a target for yourself that I'm going to approach the people who are starting. I'll tell you to set a target of like 100 people and say that within this 1 month, I will talk to 100 people about selling this product. And even you've not even told yourself whether they'll say yes or no. You've just said, I'll talk to 100 people. And you keep ticking. Number 1 said no, number 2 said no, number 3 said no. Not always the person who succeeds is the best. Have you noticed that? It's just that this person never gave up. They do the same thing 1 time, 2 times, 50 times, failing. Somebody else gave up at the 10th time and they gave up. Somebody else gave up at the 20th time. But if you're consistent over and over and over and over and over again, because you cannot be doing it the 15th time the way you did it the first time. By the time you're doing it number 15, you've already made some observations as to something that went wrong between number 1 and 10. So by number 15, you've improved a bit. By 25, you've improved a bit. By the time you're getting to 100, we won't even recognize you. We will not recognize you. True? So say yes. Yes to starting. Yes to building discipline. Yes to facing fear. And yes to serving others. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop there. I really hope you have something to take away from this session. May God bless you all. I thought there's going to be a song for exiting. DJ.
Hey, directors mko wapi bana? Mgeni wetu hawezi enda hivi tu kienyeji. Changamuke, lazima we have to finish the energy.
You know you always on my mind.
And as we finish, remember after this, directors are going for dinner. Hello? We're going for? Lifestyle inaanza tu sasa hivi, so we are finishing with power. Hello? Tunamaliza na nini? Power. Hiyo ilianza na nani? Ilianza na Okay. Wacha tu guest wetu. Si ametusomesha? Nani amesikia kitu mzuri hapo? Amesema you have to start now. Ya hapo ndio mimi nimeshika. Start when you are fearful. Usigoje mpaka uoga iondoke. Unafanya kama unaogopa. Alafu saa God anakubeba na kupeleka the rest of the way. You see, he only blesses the works of your hands. He does not bless your hands. He blesses the works of your hands. So anza saa hii. Ni sasa ama sasa? Then the next 2 to 5 years utakuwa ukisimama hapa mbele unasema that convention, my life change. DJ twende kazi.